Alright, this is going to be my Blue Sky Studios movie ranking. I have recently done, I say recently, but it's been quite a while. I did Pixar. I've done like MCU rankings. I'm going to try to do most of the major animation studios. So I'm going to start with Blue Sky here after doing Pixar. I'll probably do Illumination, DreamWorks, stuff like that in the somewhat near future. But let's get started here with my Blue Sky rankings. Starting off with some of the history behind it. It was founded in 1987 by a bunch of people here that worked at the MAGI animation studio, where they mostly did CGI for other movies. They worked on Disney's Tron. They were bought out by 20th Century Fox in 1997. They released their first movie then shortly after that in 2002. They released 13 total movies. They made their own movies in co-production with 20th Century Animation. Then 20th Century Fox was bought out by Disney in 2019, where they eventually shut down Blue Sky Studios in 2021. So they made 13 total movies, as already mentioned. 5 of them were Ice Age movies. 2 of them were Rio movies. They made a Robots, Horton Hears a Who, Epic, the Peanuts movie, Ferdinand, and Spies in Disguise. So starting off at number 13, Ice Age Collision Course. If you know anything about the Blue Sky films, this will not surprise you at all. I'm pretty sure most people would agree that it is the worst Blue Sky film by a wide margin. So starting off with some of the details of the movie, it came out in 2016, 94-minute runtime, $105 million budget, and $408 million draw at the box office. So it is about Scrat kind of messing stuff up in space, which sends an asteroid to Earth, and then our characters have to find the location of the trajectory of the asteroid and reroute it via the propulsion of magnetic matter sprouted from a volcano. If that sounds kind of dumb, it's because it is, right? So starting off with our cast here, we got Ray Romano as Manny, Dennis Leary as Diego, John Leguizamo as Sid, Queen Latifah as Ellie, and Simon Pegg as Buck. And then some of the negatives of this one, I mean, there's a lot. I'll say the writing is bad and like pretty much throughout the whole film, but specifically in the Manny and Peaches relationship. There's too many characters, which when you have sequels, you want to introduce some new characters, but they have to be, you know, good characters, which in this one, they're just not. The new characters in this one are, I think Sid's grandma, or she might have actually came in the 4th movie, I can't remember. But she's not a very good character, I feel like. And the weird old people that are being magically kept young, they're just like not good characters at all. Something that I do like is the cast, right? I like that Buck Wild returns because he did not appear in the 4th film, so he returns in this one, which is good. But I give it a score of a 52, critics an 18, and audience score of 39, and those are from Rotten Tomatoes. And the thing is, with my score, I'm kind of grading it based off of a scale, because the best Blue Sky film, I will give a score of 100, and everything else will be scaled up accordingly. But moving on now to number 12, Rio 2. So this might be a little bit of a controversial take, but I'll tell you why I feel this way. Rio 2 came out in 2014, 101-minute runtime, $103 million budget, and nearly $500 million draw at the box office. Very much a financial success. Blue and Jewel head to the Amazon after finding out there might be more blue macaws. Blue struggles to fit into the wild and struggles to bond with Jewel's dad, and then George Lopez holds musical auditions while suddenly deforestation is an issue. So it's really that last sentence which has a lot of is where a lot of my issues stem from, right? The movie does not seem very focused. The cast: Jesse Eisenberg as Blue, Anne Hathaway as Jewel, George Lopez as Raphael, Jamie Foxx as Nico, and Bruno Mars as Roberto. Some of the negatives, there's too much going on, right? Again, there's no direct focus in this one. I like the whole dynamic between, you know, Blue finding Jewel's family and not being able to fit in. That part's fine. Anything else on the side, and then the ending with deforestation it doesn't make any sense, you know, going along with the rest of the plot of the movie. Right, some of the positives: I like the cast, I like the animation, it's beautiful, the music is great, and I do like most of the characters in this movie. But I gave it a score of 74, critics 50, and audience 58. But even though this is only one spot ahead of, you know, Ice Age Collision Course, it was like 20 points higher, so pretty big gap between those two. Number 11, Horton Hears a Who. Horton Hears a Who is a 2008 animated film with an 86-minute runtime, $85 million budget, and grossed nearly $300 million at the box office. Horton finds out a tiny world of people is living on a speck of dust and becomes obsessed with protecting them. He tries to prove their existence, while the mayor of Whoville tries to prove Horton's existence. So the cast here is really good, I feel like. Jim Carrey as Horton, Steve Carell as Ned, Seth Rogen as Morton, Will Arnett as Vlad, and Carol Burnett as the Kangaroo. Some of the negatives that I have is the lack of side characters. Like, this movie is 90% essentially just Horton and Ned, right? I would like some more prominent side characters aside from our villains of the story, right? And I feel like the climax kind of just happens. It kind of gets thrown in there suddenly. I would have liked a little bit more of a real build-up to the finale. Positives, I do like the cast. Jim Carrey and Steve Carell are really good. They're really funny, which goes for the humor in here. The message of, a person to person, no matter how small. Good message, right? And I do like the villain in this movie. More so, I like Vlad as a villain. The Kangaroo, voiced by Carol Burnett, is fine, but not my favorite. I give it a score of 75, critics 79, and audience 73. Number 10. Epic. So the first thing I want to talk about is Epic is not exactly an epic film, but it came out in 2013, has a 102-minute runtime, one of the longer Blue Sky films, a $100 million budget, and grossed $268 million at the box office. Not exactly a huge success there, but it's about a teenage girl magically shrinks herself, she magically shrinks and finds herself in a hidden forest world that aligns with her father's research. While there, she joins a group of magical creatures to battle an evil ruler threatening to destroy the forest. Not a bad concept for a plot. The cast, you got Amanda Seyfried as MK, Josh Hutcherson as Nod, you got Beyonce in here as Queen Tara, Josh Sudeikis as Mr. Bomba, and Christoph Waltz as our villain in Mandrake. Some of the negatives, I think the humor is pretty uninspiring. They definitely try to be funny at times. They have a couple comedic side characters, which I don't think are done really well. And our villain is not very good, not very memorable. It's not even like a huge threat, really, because they get taken down with relative ease, right? The positives, beautiful animation. Like, the animation in this one honestly did surprise me. It was really good, and I do like the voice casting in this one as well. I gave it a score of 76, critics 65, and audience 65. Number 9. Ice Age Continental Drift. So this is going to be the 4th out of the 5 Ice Age movies, not counting Ice Age The Adventures of Buck Wild, because that is technically made by Disney, not Blue Sky. But moving on to the details, it came out in 2012, 88-minute runtime, $95 million budget, and it grossed $877 million at the box office. Very, very successful there. So it's about Manny, Sid, and Diego end up drifting away from their herd on a giant chunk of ice. Along the way, they run into a pirate crew while trying to find their way back home. The cast here, I'm not going to go over our main Ice Age cast because you already did that with Collision Course, right? But we got Peter Dinklage as Captain Gut, Nicki Minaj and Drake as Steffi and Ethan. You got Keke Palmer as Peaches, and Jennifer Lopez as Shira. So a lot of big names here. Some of the negatives, again, is going to be that Manny-Peaches relationship, which I did not like in Ice Age 5, and I definitely don't like it in this one either. Also, throughout the Ice Age films, I feel like Sid just gets progressively dumber, and in this one, it is definitely more of an issue than it is in the first 3. The positives I have, pirates are in this one. I love anything with pirates in it. Good new characters. I do like the new characters in this one. I like Shira. I like the villain Captain Gut, right? Those are some good characters in this one. Ellie is more, Peaches is more of a real character in this one, which I think she's fine at times. And I do like the voice cast in this one, aside from really Drake and Nicki Minaj, because they don't have a huge role in this one, but when they talk, you can definitely tell it's the celebrities that it is, and they're not necessarily the most talented voice actors. But I gave it a score of 79, critics 37, and audience 61. Number 8. Ferdinand. Ferdinand is a 2017 animated movie, 108-minute runtime. I think that is the longest Blue Sky movie. $111 million budget, and $296 million grossed at the box office. Not a huge success there either. Ferdinand is born into a bullfighting ranch. He escapes and lives with a nice owner, but ends up back at the ranch after a flower fiasco. It's the best way to put it without spoiling too much. And back with his old friends, he develops a scheme to escape the ranch, but he still must fulfill his bullfighting duties. So the cast, we have John Cena actually as Ferdinand, Kate McKinnon as Lupe, Bobby Cannavale as Valiente, I hope I said that right, David Tennant as Angus, and we got Peyton Manning as Guapo. Some of the negatives, I feel like it drags out, which again, it is the longest Blue Sky movie, so it dragging out kind of makes sense. There's too many side characters in this one, I think, especially the horses. I don't like the horses in this one. So if you took out basically any scene that had the horses in it, you would probably save 5 to 10 minutes, which would make it better because you're eliminating the worst part of the movie. And it would also be a little bit shorter, which I think would help the movie out as well. Some of the positives, voice casting. John Cena, I feel like, does really, really well in this one. And there's quite a bit of emotional moments in this film. I gave it a score of an 84, critics 70, and audience 52. Number 7. Number 7 is going to be Spies in Disguise. Spies in Disguise is a 2019 animated movie with a 102-minute runtime, a $100 million budget, and $171 million grossed at the box office, which, if you don't know much about how the box office and the budget stuff works, just because the box office number is $71 million higher than the budget, that does not mean they made $71 million, right? The advertising and stuff that goes into the movie was not included in the budget, so that probably cost another close to $50 or $100 million. So this movie very well might have lost money or just barely broke even, which makes sense that Disney ended up shutting it down because this actually was the last movie Blue Sky Studios made, and it was not a financial success at all. So the synopsis of this one: super spy Lance Sterling gets accidentally turned into a pigeon by tech genius Walter Beckett. The two have to team up using brains and gadgets to stop a global threat. The cast, you got Lance Sterling voiced by Will Smith, Tom Holland voicing Walter Beckett, Rashida Jones voicing Marcy Capel, Ben Middleton voicing Killian, and Reba McEntire voicing Joy Jenkins. Reba McEntire is probably the single most recognizable voice, I think, probably ever, at least among, someone that is actually in a decent amount of films, right? The negatives of this one: tonal shift, I feel like it's not very clear sometimes. Like it's an action comedy film, but I don't think they balance it out as good as they could, right? It feels like sometimes they need to be serious and they're trying to be funny, and it's like it doesn't really work too well. And there's a lot of predictable spy slash action tropes, like you got a car blowing up, which happens in almost every action film, right? But that's not too much of a negative in my opinion, but I do think it is a little bit on the negative side. The voice casting is pretty good. Again, Tom Holland and Will Smith do a great job. Action is really good, especially during some of their fight sequences, right? It looks really good. Spy drama, I love the spy drama, and the animation during those fight sequences, again, is very, very good. I gave it a score of an 87, critics 77, and audience 92. Number 6. Ice Age: The Meltdown. This is the second of the 5 Ice Age movies. It came out in 2006, a 91-minute runtime, $80 million budget, and $660 million at the box office. Very, very successful there. Manny, Sid, and Diego discover that their valley is about to flood as the ice starts melting. On their journey to somewhere safe, they meet another mammoth with accompanying possum brothers. If I had a nickel for every Blue Sky movie that had a plot around a potentially extinct or a potentially close to extinction species who ends up finding that they're nowhere really near extinction, I would have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it is weird that it happened twice, right? The cast, you got Sean William Scott as Crash and Josh Peck as Eddie, and then you should already know Manny, Diego, and Sid. Negatives, the villain in here is lacking. Like, there's not really a villain, like, at all. And the movie as a whole, I feel like it's not very memorable. I'm not saying it's bad, but there's a lot of things in the other Ice Age movies that are, like, completely memorable to each one, right? Like, the first one is is much more memorable because of the way the villain and stuff is structured. The third one has dinosaurs, the fourth one has pirates, and the fifth one has like space stuff, right? The second one is just another journey, kind of like the first one, right? But I think it actually is less memorable. Positives: voice casting's good, comedy's good, characters are good, and this one has really good pacing. It is one of the longer Ice Age movies, but it doesn't really feel long at all. I gave it a score of an 88, critics 56, and audience 71. Number 5, Ice Age 3: Dawn of the Dinosaurs. It is a 2009 animated film, 94-minute runtime, $90 million budget, and $886 million draw at the box office. I think that is the highest grossing Blue Sky film. I think Ice Age 4 was pretty close to that number as well. But it's about Sid and Diego leaving the herd so that Manny and Ellie can have their family. Sid finds dinosaur eggs, which leads to him getting taken by the mother T-Rex. And then the rest of the crew go to save him, where they meet Buck Wild in an underground dinosaur world. So the cast, again, you should know Manny, Diego, and Sid, and Ellie, and Buck as well, because I already did talk about all 5 of these characters with Ice Age Collision Course. So the negatives of this one: minimal emotional moments in this one for sure, and the humor is overdone at times. Again, I think Sid is getting progressively dumber, and they try to make it comedic, which doesn't really work as well in this one. Crash and Eddie, I liked them better in the second movie than I did in this movie for sure. They are side characters who are strictly there for comedy, and it's again overdone at times in this one. Voice casting once again is good. Comedy I think is good. It is just overdone sometimes. The characters is really good, and the adventure of this one is probably my favorite out of all the Ice Age movies. I gave it a score of 91, critics 46, audience 63. Number 4, Robots. Robots is a 2005 animated movie, 91-minute runtime, $75 million budget, and $262 million draw at the box office. This was the second Blue Sky movie made after Ice Age. It's about Rodney Copperbottom going to Robot City, hoping to make a name for himself as an inventor. Robot City seems more focused on consumerism and eliminating the lower class, as something that also relates very much to today's society. But Rodney and his lower class friend group fight back with the help of mega corporation owner Big Weld. So our cast here, we got Ewan McGregor as Rodney, Robin Williams as Fender, Amanda Bynes as Piper, Mel Brooks as Big Weld, and Greg Kinnear as our villain Ratchet. Some of the negatives: first off, I want to say that Big Weld should be the villain. I watched a YouTube video about that as well. I can't remember who it was by, but it's essentially titled Big Weld Should Be the Villain, and it goes on for like 30 minutes talking about how that would have made the movie better, and I wholeheartedly agree. I think this movie was fairly predictable at times for sure, but getting to our positives: voice casting I think was done really great, which I have said that about a lot of Blue Sky films, but that is one of the things that surprised me a lot, is that they have really good voice casting. The comedy in this one's great. It has Robin Williams, so it should be, right? Animation is good, and the world building in this one is very good. I would love to get a Robot sequel, strictly just so we can see more world building aspects, right? I gave it a score of 94, critics 64, audience 54. Number 3, The Peanuts movie. The Peanuts movie is a 2015 animated movie with a 93-minute runtime, $99 million budget, and $246 million draw at the box office. So if you don't know anything about the Peanuts and their history within, the old comics or the old cartoons from like the 70s or so, might have even been before that in the 60s, I'm not 100% sure. But if you don't know anything about that, you might not like this movie as much, because it does a really good job of tying back to the original source. But it's about, a typical Peanuts story where Charlie Brown just can't seem to do anything right, but then he gets the best score on a test and is treated like a celebrity until he realizes the issue that was made and comes clean. Also, Snoopy has his own imaginative adventure on a flying ace. So the cast here is actually all kids, it's all child actors. We got Noah Schnapp as Charlie Brown, Alexander Garfin as Linus, Hadley Bell Miller as Lucy, Mario Sheets as Sally, and Francesca Capaldi as the red-haired girl. I'm not 100% sure if she has a real name, but they mostly just refer to her as the red-haired girl in this movie. Negatives, I think it is more so a collection of events rather than one coherent storyline, which, given that it's based off of a bunch of old comic strips and old 20-minute cartoon episodes, it makes sense that they're not the best at making a coherent 90-minute story, right? The positives, the voice casting, again, especially because it was all child actors. Comedy is good. The animation is great in this one. I like that they use their original character models, and it has the original heart of the story. I gave it a score of 95, critics 87, and audience 76. Number 2, Rio. So this one is significantly higher than Rio 2. If you remember, that was at the second to last one, and this is at the second to top. So big discrepancy between Rio 1 and Rio 2. But Rio 1 is a 2011 animated movie with a 96-minute runtime, a $90 million budget, and a $483 million draw at the box office. Blue is a pet macaw who's never learned to fly, and he's taken to Brazil to help save his species. Once he gets there, him and Jewel get caught in a bird smuggling cartel. Very, very interesting plot here, in my opinion, right? The cast, I already went through the main cast again earlier with Rio 2. So this is going to go over the more side characters or our villain here. We got Jermaine Clement as Nigel. We got Leslie Mann as Linda, Rodrigo Santoro as Tulio, Tracy Morgan as Louise, and Carlos Ponce as Marcel. Going into our negatives here, I think there is definitely a lack of character depth, specifically with our human characters. Right, they're not exactly fleshed out as much as they could have been, as well as they could have been. But the positives is going to be the voice casting. The animation in Rio is stunning, especially when they're flying over Rio. It is so beautiful. The music and score in Rio movies, Rio 1 and 2, I would say are definitely better than any other Blue Sky movies by quite a bit. Right, the villain also is really good. I love Nigel in this one, and also our human villain, Marcel, was really solid as well. I gave it a score of 96, critics 72, and audience 71. Number 1, last but not least, is going to be Ice Age. You probably could have already figured that out by now. Ice Age 1 is my favorite Blue Sky movie. It came out in 2002, being the first Blue Sky movie with an 81-minute runtime, $59 million budget, and a $383 million box office draw. So I do think it has the lowest runtime and the lowest budget out of any Blue Sky movie, which does make sense for it being the first one made, right? But it's about, so the synopsis here, in lieu of migration, Manny just disregards it, doesn't want to migrate, doesn't think he needs to migrate. Sid joins Manny for protection, and they team up to return a baby back to his village. Diego also tags along, but with a different motive. So our cast, once again, you got Ray Romano as Manny, Dennis Leary as Diego, John Leguizamo as Sid. You also have Chris Wedge voicing Scrat. He voices a few different minor side characters throughout because he was one of the original founders of Blue Sky and worked as a producer for essentially every single movie. And you got Goran Visnicic, I don't know how to say that, Visnich, I think, as Soto. Negatives, the animation is not great for this one, right? There's definitely better animated movies that came out around 2002 than Ice Age 1, right? The story is kind of slow. Even though it is the shortest Blue Sky film, I do think the story is still a little bit slow. Positives here, the voice casting again is great. Comedy is really good. Like when I first rewatched this for this video, right? This was the first one I rewatched, and I was blown away by how funny like this movie was. I forgot about that, right? The story is great. The emotion, there's a lot of emotional moments in this one, and it's done very, very well. And our villain is really good, especially if you consider the twist. You know, Diego's kind of a twist villain in this one, has a villain to hero arc, which is done really well. And also our other villainous saber-toothed tigers are done really well as well. I gave it a score of 100 because, again, the best Blue Sky movie, I'm just going to give it a score of 100. Even though it might not necessarily, earn that score, I think that's the easiest for me to do when I do these individual studio rankings, right? Critics gave it a 76, and audience gave it an 82. But now we're going to get into a little simple view here, just all the 13 movies, put out for you guys. Ice Age is number 1 with a score of 100. Rio's number 2 at 96. The Peanuts movie is number 3 at 95. Robots is number 4 at 94. Ice Age Song of the Dinosaurs at number 5 with 91. Ice Age The Meltdown at number 6 with a score of 88. Spies in Disguise at number 7 with a score of an 87. Ferdinand at number 8 with a score of an 84. Ice Age Continental Drift at number 9 with a score of 79. Epic at number 10 with a score of 76. Horton Hears at number 11 with a score of a 75. Rio 2 at number 12 with a score of a 74. And Ice Age Collision Course at number 13 with a score of a 52. But that is going to be it for the video. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like this video and give it and subscribe to my channel if you like this content. If you want to see more stuff like this, again, I will try to do more of the animation studios like Sony, Illumination, DreamWorks, stuff like that in the somewhat near future. I will also be doing some other Marvel stuff or Marvel adjacent stuff like DC at some point in my life. So if you like that stuff, subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching this video, and goodbye.